stripes and the eagle flies.
Radio listeners, today we have a very special guest in Brad O'Leary. Brad O'Leary serves as the president of ATI News, an online magazine information website that provides links to more than 750 English newspaper and magazines worldwide. He is a prolific author of books such as The Audacity of Deceit. And we're here today to talk about his new book, and Brad O'Leary would like to welcome you to the Conscience of Kansas radio program.
Delighted to be with you.
Well, Brad, you've got one of these sterling bios. It'd probably take less time to talk about what you haven't done in life. I was wondering if you could tell our Conscience of Kansas listeners a little bit more about yourself and how you got into writing all these wonderful books.
Well, I've been in politics most of my life. My mentors in politics was former Texas Governor John Connally and former U.S. Senator from Texas, John Tower. Very conservative, and they taught me a lot about thinking and about writing and about being thoughtful in what you put together and being accurate. And a series of books I write are mostly dedicated to them for the doors they opened for me and for the knowledge they helped me acquire. Through the years, I've just continued to occasionally write books. When Obama ran for president, I wrote a book called The Audacity of Deceit, which and put up a website. The book sold okay. The problem was I didn't publish it until early September, but the website got almost 1 million people who went to it to take a test. And most people who've seen the test, taken the test, tell me I should have called it the Nostradamus prophecies, because everything that I said he was going to do, that other people said he would never do, he did, or at least is attempting to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, here, the folks who listen to the Conscience of Kansas radio program, very familiar with your book. We were humbled that you mentioned my interview with Code Pink and Jody Evans in the book, and it's fascinating. It's scary fascinating how you've been accurate on the things in that book. And now you've got this new book called America's War on Christianity. I was wondering if you could tell our folks a little bit about it.
Sure. Actually, there's two books. There's the publisher at the last minute decided to publish America's War on Christianity, and then to take half of it, and put it out under the headline or the book title, God and America's Leaders. God and America's Leaders is quotes of 800 founding fathers and presidents on Jesus Christ, Christianity, the Bible, and religious things. It was put together to counter what secularists try to tell you, is that the founding fathers and even presidents were not religious people. They didn't believe they didn't start this country under Judeo-Christian law. They started this country under the philosophy of Immanuel Kant, which is just farthest from reality. And if you read their quotes, you'll understand that. And then the first book, America's War on Christianity, goes and talks about a lot of things that are happening in this country in an attempt by the secularist or the atheist to destroy any moral feelings for Christianity or Jesus Christ or the Judeo-Christian value system. Actually, I wrote the book come out at a right time because I figured that the nuts and the kooks would be out at Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see them all over the place. Chase Bank just told one of their bank affiliates that they had to take down a Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah.
And in New Jersey, there's a big sign at the New Jersey Bridge that questions the existence of God, put up by the Atheist Society. They've got signs and billboards all over the country this year. A group of Christian pastors, black Christian pastors in Dallas, are refusing to have their congregation ride the bus as long as those signs are on the side of the buses in Dallas, which is a good thing because I wrote the book to kind of tell Christians you have to watch what's happening and you have to fight back when things are happening to try to destroy your religion.
Well, I agree. I think you have to, and I think those battles are being waged all over the place. Here and folks here in Northeast Kansas are going to identify with what you're talking about, especially because right now we have what's going to be in national news, I believe soon, where they're passing an amendment to an anti-discrimination law, which is going to make homosexuals, gays, and lesbians a protected class and is going to unleash litigation against Christians here in Kansas, especially here in Riley County, like has never been seen before. It'll be the most leftist ordinance in the country. And, Christians are standing up like you're talking about. They're trying to say, we gotta deal with this, or we're going to set a precedence here in Kansas. It's going to go all over the country. But, a lot of times you don't have the ammunition to really make a good verbal argument. And that's what I think is interesting about books like yourselves. We come from a rich history. I believe that this country is blessed, not because of coincidence or happenstance, that we're blessed because we have followed a belief system, a Judeo-Christian belief system. And like you say, there's a big push to just rewrite this thinking. How do we go about fighting it?
Well, of course, I'm pushing my books, but I'll tell you this, they're paperback. And any money I get, profit from the books, I've selected 5 charities to give the money to.
Wow.
So I'm not in this for the economic game that exists. And there are 2 things that people who are listening can do and pass on to their friends. I've taken both books, and I've created a 10-question test for both of them. And you can go to americaswaronchristianity.com and take 10 true and false tests that will pretty much tell you if you actually know what's going on around America in this war on Christianity. And then the other website, once again, is called God and America's Leaders. And what that one does is it gives you a quote by a founding father or president, and then gives you multiple choice, gives you the names of 4 people, and has you figure out who said that quote.
Very
interesting thing of that, I've had a number of pastors and priests who've taken it and emailed me or told me that it's very clever because they couldn't get more than 6 out of 10 right. Mm-hmm. So don't let it intimidate you, and nobody will know, but it's also something you ought to pass on to your pastor.
Right. Well, no doubt about it. Education's it's just a powerful tool to actually know. And it's interesting with this book, God and America's Leaders, to go back and listen to what people throughout history, people that we have traditionally held up, our presidents and others, that are really getting demeaned, looking at what they believed in and how those beliefs, have fit into our government, into a lot of our laws, into the way that we look at things, our capitalistic system, in my opinion, and how the belief in God and Christianity has equaled really freedom and liberty in this country. If we take those and if we eliminate those, as liberals want to do, as statists want to do, is it inevitable that our freedoms and liberties will be tossed out?
Well, I think it's inevitable that our children will learn not to value them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've got one chapter on homeschooling, which is fought by the atheists, by the teachers' unions, by the bureaucrats, by the secularists. I mean, it's in all 50 states. There will be a never-ending battle against homeschooling. Mm-hmm. And in our military now, military chaplains can't use that dreaded name, Jesus Christ, in their sermons. Yeah. They're banned from it.
Wow.
And so are many police chaplains banned from saying the word Jesus Christ in a sermon. Our children, the basic battle that's going on here is the desire of Christians to understand that God gives you all the benefits and values, and your allegiance is to God.
Right.
And what they want to do is change your allegiance around to have it come to the state.
Yeah. And
for you to be aware that all laws, that all benefits, all opportunities come from the state. Mm-hmm. And it's sad, and the things that bureaucrats try to do is just crazy, but they think they can set precedent by getting somebody to agree to something, and move on.
Well, and they have a lot of actors, a lot of forces that back them up, people from the ACLU to the mainstream media to all, the Democrat Party, in my opinion, that continue this mantra. They're funded. They're ensconced in a lot of the things. If you go up here to the universities, to most universities, and you get into the professors, you're going to hear that same thing being echoed, this moral relativism, this idea that those that believe in God are just backward fire worshipers and
right.
things. And you'll see these protests on the university campus all over the place. And Kansas State University is not void to that. We are a conservative state. We're much more conservative than Berkeley or somewhere else, but you still have it going on here. And there's tremendous opposition to Christianity. We had a Christian rally here the other day, and we had protesters protesting it. And so there's really no place that your book, I think, wouldn't be applicable, because this battle is nationwide.
Yes, and it's just what I'm trying to do with the book is just wake people up to the fact that if, as a Christian, you go to church on Sunday and you forget everything until next Sunday when you go to church again, that's not enough. You owe something to keep Christianity alive in America, and you need to fight things when they happen. In San Diego, the city tried to put in a requirement for anyone doing a Bible study to get a permit because it was going to cause traffic problems.
Oh, man.
And the permit was expensive.
Well, papers, please. Papers, please. Reminds me of the Politburo, the commissars rolling up to see if you have a permit. It's to me, that's one step away from outlawing it. It's the way to temper it down, to restrict it. A lot of people here in Kansas, like a lot of Christians that look at this issue, they have a fear of being called haters, fear of being called angry. This is what the emails we'll get after our interview. They'll say, Brad O'Leary's just an angry, fear-mongering hater. That'll be the attack words. A lot of people, unfortunately, trying to be politically correct. I'm thinking that if you have faith, if you truly believe that what you're doing is right, and that God's in control of this whole thing, you can kind of step beyond that and just do what's right.
Well, the other thing people have to realize is this war has been successful in many instances for the other side, not only here but around the world. Of course, it's no problem to understand how successful it is in Muslim countries, but in Muslim countries, if a Muslim converts to Christianity, they're punished by killing them.
Right.
It's legal to kill any Muslim that takes up the cross. And in Canada and in Great Britain, a pastor can go to jail or be fined for preaching from the Bible or preaching in the name of Jesus Christ. And in that's in certain areas, but there are certain words or teachings of the Bible that it's illegal to say in Canada or in Great Britain.
That's hard to believe. Those are allied countries. Of course, we have, there's a lot of things happening with Islam and how it interacts with this country, and how we square having a melting pot where we welcome everyone and yet try to maintain our traditions, our Christian values, and what this nation was brought up on. When you look at Canada or Europe, the knee-jerk reaction until you're educated is to think, well, they're just like us. But America is exceptional in its own way, and I tell you what, I've always believed that it comes from we've been blessed, and you can lose those blessings. There are ramifications for your actions. A lot of people look at America and they just think that our traditions, our economy, our military strength, our security are all just always going to be there, no matter what you do to it, no matter how you act toward it. And I don't believe that. I believe you can, empires have risen and fallen, and America can too. And I believe our moral values, our moral foundations are the number one part. I don't know what you think. Is that accurate at all in your thinking?
Yeah, they're not fighting just against Christians. They're fighting about the moral concepts and values of this country. I mean, the favorite philosopher that the statists and atheists and everyone believe in is Immanuel Kant. He's the favorite philosopher of fascists, and he's the favorite philosopher among communists. He just believes that the state is supreme. And those senators, congressmen, and even presidents who believe that they should be the final authority and they should make the judgments for people because people are actually too dumb to make judgments for themselves. That's the ultimate desire on their part, is to have people believe in the power of government, not the power of the Lord.